Yeah, this is a quarterly chart of Bitcoin going back to 2011. One of the things that stands out about this is that we did have a 40% decline this past quarter, and there's been only three other cases going back to 2000, the third quarter of 2011. And after each quarter, you'll see after the third quarter in 2011, we had two flat quarters. Basically, we had a gain of or a loss of 5% and then a gain of 7%. Basically, we closed flat with over those two quarters versus the third quarter. One of the things that stands out also is that there was extreme amount of volatility in this quarter on an intra-quarter basis, and there was also a notable amount in this quarter. And then when you switch up to the next, we had a couple quarters here where we're at 37, 39%, but I use 40% as a cutoff simply because we had that this quarter. So we moved to 2018, the first quarter of 2018, we had a decline of 50%. That was followed by two basically flat quarters. Not a lot of change there. There was some inter-quarter volatility there. There was less so there. And then we evolved into another 40%, 44% decline in the fourth quarter of 2018. And then we had another quarter where we were up 11%. So when you put that into the context of now, I mean, it is a sample size of only three, so we have to take that with a grain of salt. It still adds up to the fact that we could see at least one quarter or possibly two quarters where on a quarterly closing basis, we don't see much price change. But on an inter quarter basis, we could see volatility getting up to an average of around 40% based on those previous quarters that followed the 40% drop. So on that note, using the quarterly basis, we could see a flat quarter, but within the context of this quarter and possibly the next quarter, we could see some notable volatility moving forward. On a monthly basis, one of the things that stands out, and I'll bring up this the moving average, is two things strike me on the monthly chart, and that is one, the overbought readings on the RSI and the importance of the 12-month simple moving average in guiding and instructing price. Starting with the 12-month, you'll see that for the most part, it holds there in 2013, comes up when we pull back in 2014, it holds, and then we break. And that is the big leg down we have there. And then once we get back above, or once again on a rally, we come down, we hold, fail, come down for a large leg down, and then we get back above. One of the interesting things is 2019, we kind of just oscillated along here, and finally everybody was impatient and they finally knocked it down, and you had that spike lower, almost forming a hammer candlestick, and then we got back above and rally. Now at this point, we're sitting on the 12-month simple moving average. Last month we first touched it, and now this month, this quarter or this month, we're holding it right now. So on that basis, we are at an inflection point in terms of the longer term trend for Bitcoin in this particular advance off the March 2020 lows. The second thing that stands out is the RSI, the extremes. We had the extreme reading in April 2013, November 2013, August 2017, December 2017, and then again, actually we had it was in March 2020. And these cases, there was either it was a pullback like we saw here, which still was notable. It doesn't look like it on the charts, but it still was a notable amount. I don't remember the exact amount it came back. But on this particular case, we ended up going into this long bear market, which went from 2013 into the lows in 2015. Here you had a high reading. We had a pullback, was relatively minor, and then we had one more high. Now on this particular case, we had the March 2020, and now we've come down to here, and we have released some of the overbought condition on the monthly chart. However, if we don't hold this particular simple moving average, the potential for Bitcoin at this particular point is to travel another 40% from here, which would take us down into 18,800 range. using the monthly chart and these two particular things on the indicators on the monthly chart. On the weekly chart, what stands out, we'll get rid of the here, we'll put up. Actually, one of the things I want to show on the monthly is something that I had not picked up before, and it is interesting, is the role of the 50-month simple moving average. I mean, it's not very many instances, so we have to take it with a grain of salt as well. But you'll see here back in 2015 how it came into play. And then again on this pullback or this decline or correction or bear market, if you want to call it that, in 2018, 2019, it came into play. And then one of the things about this is we did go below, but we closed back above. So there is some value in that as well. So I just wanted to point that out. Going back to the weekly chart. One of the things that stands out to start with is something that you pick up on a lot of financial instruments, at least in my experience, is the role of the 200-week simple moving average. And you'll see it here in 2018 and 2019. I mean, it's like spot on. Another instance is back in 2015. Again, you'll see spot on and then basically spot on again. So that has to be a target moving forward if things really unravel. If we go below the 2018 high, which is about 19,666, which is 666, you're talking about the devil there, so it's a little bit scary. But anyway.
Imagine how many people are gonna die in that correction.
Well, hey, you know where the S&P bottomed in 2009, right?
At what?
666.
Oh, there you go. Well,
so I thought I'd throw that in there for some anecdotal fun. But you'll see here we're holding the 50-week simple moving average, which is an important moving average. We can see it holds here. We can see it holds here, becomes resistance there. Again, support, falls off, resistance, and then it takes off again. So when you combine the weekly chart with us holding the 50-week simple moving average, you throw in the 12-month simple moving average, you can really tell that the Bitcoin on that basis is at a major inflection point. Okay, so if we fail to hold this level, then we're exposed to a decline based on these charts to about 18,800. And after that, once we get below there, which is below the 2018 high, we are really, it's vulnerable to come all the way down into 13,000, let's say 14,000-ish area, which corresponds with the 200-week simple moving average, which would be a full reversion to the mean. I consider the 200-week simple moving average as the mean for price, where you see price come back, it holds, or it falls behind, and then it comes back up and tests. And it would actually go down to, we could come down to the 2011 trend line that goes through 2020 would be the final area of rest. That would be just a rough idea on price decline. That would take us down 60% from there. So
and from the top, sorry, from the $65,000 top, will it be a 80% correction? There you go, exactly.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, in every single top that Bitcoin has had, it goes down from the top around 80%. So yeah, that'll be a perfect bottom right there.
So that's sort of
bearish.
It'll if we hold the 50-week simple moving average and a 12-month simple moving average, like we are right now, everything is fine. But if we go below that, then it's vulnerable to a lot of different outcomes, all of which are notably bearish. So
yeah, it is also worth noting that in the previous bull cycles, Bitcoin has rebounded from the 50-week moving average before it actually breaks below it. I believe it was back in 2013 when it didn't even rebound and it just went straight below it. Yeah, I don't know. You cannot see it there, but
in early 2014, you can see where it came and then it bounced and then it finally.
Exactly. The same thing happened in 2018, right? It comes down and then it bounces.
And then it fell.
The
So
same thing
same
in
here,
2000.
when
Yeah.
it comes
Uh-huh.
again, holds, bounces, then finally capitulation, and then goes from there. So yeah, that's
Indeed.
sort of where it stands on a big picture. I think that
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah. Go ahead.
question
Go ahead.
here,
Sorry.
Sheldon, if you're done.
yeah,
Can you go back to the monthly chart? Right. So you mentioned like 2 or 3 scenarios that going to happen based on the monthly, the 12-week moving average, the 12-month moving average. Can you turn on?
yeah.
Okay. Right. So which scenario do you think is likely considering the current situation? Like, do you think we're going to dip below it? Can you zoom in a little more? Okay.
How's that?
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah.
So you think
Okay.
we're going to bounce off the 12 monthly moving average? Are we going to get a slight dip from a hammer kind of stuff and then move higher, or like a full
Well,
reversal?
well, when you look at it in the case of 2018, we came down, we surfed along it and then we fell. When we came down here in 2014, we surfed along it and then we broke down. So based on those two examples, I don't have data going farther back. It would seem that maybe we'll surf along here for this quarter and maybe next quarter, and then finally break down if we follow those two precedents from there. But one of the things that I was thinking about yesterday, looking at particularly Bitcoin, but in some of the other altcoins as well, is that the market is dead. Yes, we've had a lot of charts that have broken down either from a rising wedge, a bear flag, in some cases symmetrical triangles, and there's been some impulsive move from those breakdowns, but not a lot. But in the case of Bitcoin, it's really moved sideways and it's dead. Like if you watch the price on an intraday basis and you look at the price changes, sometimes it sits there and does nothing for minutes at a time. So there's a saying that I always remember is that don't short a dead market. And that's something to keep in mind right now when you're looking at Bitcoin and to some extent some of the other altcoins, is that this could be a trap where it wouldn't take much to really kickstart a major jump higher in Bitcoin. That would be my fear if I was holding a short position, or if I was extremely bearish at this point. So I would say that I'm neutral on Bitcoin based upon the longer term charts. But like I said in the title, beware of the reaper. I mean, if this breaks, these moving averages break, and based on the RSI and the type of declines that follow, it could get significant.
Yeah.
Interesting
Yeah, well,
observation. Also, Ali, just 1 second. If you want more data, I think you can use a BLX chart instead of BTC USD.
No, there is also like a Bitcoin index used by TradingView. So if you actually go, Sheldon, to kind of like change the ticker, you just look for BTC USD, and it shows you the kind of like the TradingView. Exactly, you see it right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It says index.
This one? No.
Underneath.
History.
Yeah, that
This
one.
one.
Exactly. So this one gives you like basically full data since you started trading back in 2010, right?
10, yeah. Okay.
So you see that exactly that reaction right there between 2011 and 2012, where it actually doesn't even rebound from the 12. The same thing kind of like happens on the weekly chart when referencing the 50-week moving average. In there, that's the only point that I could find that it just breaks below it. But based on the most recent bull cycles, right, usually have that rebound of the 50-week moving average.
Yeah, we just went through it there, and then we came up and then took off.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, like right now, everybody, there's extreme fear in the market, right? As you can see in the fear and greed index. So ideally, when there is a lot of fear, the market reacts in a different way. So I do believe that there is potential for a rebound based on the sentiments on the market, and then the rebound will essentially get people bullish again and starting to place a lot of long positions. And then comes the capitulation, right? Where you basically break below support, right? Sweep all of those stop losses that have been placed from all of those people that are now long, thinking that this thing was going to go higher. And then you have the full 80% correction that characterizes Bitcoin in every bear market. But that's basically what I'm leaning towards. I fully agree with what you have presented today, Sheldon. It kind of like also falls with my long-term perspective. But